Before the dawn of settled civilizations, before the invention of the wheel, and long before humanity envisioned its boundless potential, the wild horse reigned supreme across the vast, undulating landscapes of the Eurasian steppe. Imagine a world untamed, stretching further than the eye could see, where the wind whispered through endless oceans of tall grass, and the only rulers were the primal forces of nature. Here, in this formidable expanse, lived one of Earth's most magnificent creatures, Equus ferus. These were not the horses we know today, not the domesticated steeds of cavalry or the patient draft animals of the farm. These were creatures of raw, unbroken spirit, their bodies honed by millennia of natural selection. Lean, powerful, and incredibly swift, they moved with an almost ethereal grace, yet possessed an underlying strength that could outrun any predator. Their coats, often dappled or dun, blended seamlessly with the ochre and gold hues of the sprawling plains. In this ancient world, their existence was a testament to freedom. They lived in complex social structures, led by dominant stallions whose authority was constantly tested in fierce, ritualistic battles for control of the herd. Mares, vigilant and protective, guided their foals through perilous seasons, teaching them the ancient paths to waterholes and the richest grazing grounds. The foals, spindly-legged and curious, represented the future of a lineage that had thrived for millions of years. The sound of their hooves, a distant rumble on the horizon, was the heartbeat of the steppe. Thousands upon thousands would gather, forming colossal herds that stretched for miles, a living, breathing tapestry of power and movement. When startled, their collective gallop was a seismic event, a thundering crescendo that vibrated through the very earth, leaving a dust cloud in their wake that blotted out the sun. Their manes and tails flew like banners, their muscles rippled under taut skin, a symphony of raw, untamed power. Survival on the steppe was a brutal dance. Blizzards swept in from the north, coating the landscape in an unforgiving white. Scorching summers brought drought and scarcity. Predators, wolves, big cats, and early hominids constantly stalked the edges of the herds, seeking out the weak or the unwary. Yet the wild horses endured, their senses sharp, their instincts finely tuned, forever moving, forever adapting. This was their domain, an open space, cyclical seasons, and the relentless pursuit of life. They were a force of nature themselves, an integral part of the ecosystem, shaping the very grasslands they grazed upon. Unbeknownst to them, their wild existence, their strength, speed, and herd intelligence would one day capture the imagination of another species, setting in motion a partnership that would irrevocably alter the course of human civilization. But for now, they remained wild, magnificent, and free, kings of their untamed realm. From the raw, untamed power of the wild herds, humanity's relationship with the horse began not with dominance, but with a cautious, often perilous observation. Imagine the vast, undulating steppes of Eurasia, tens of thousands of years ago, a landscape teeming with life, where survival hinged on keen senses and strategic thinking. Here, amongst the scattered rock outcrops and sparse vegetation, early hunter-gatherers encountered the wild horse, a creature of immense speed, strength, and formidable presence. For these nomadic groups, the wild horse was initially little more than prey, a massive source of protein, hide, and bone. Its pursuit represented a significant challenge and a potentially life-sustaining reward. Primitive spears and stone tools were their only instruments against an animal that could outrun any human and deliver a devastating kick. The tension between predator and prey was palpable, a silent dance of survival played out under vast open skies. Hunter-gatherers would stalk these magnificent beasts, hidden in tall grasses or perched on rocky ridges, their hearts pounding not just from exertion, but from a profound mixture of fear and calculated intent. Yet beyond the immediate need for sustenance, there stirred a deeper fascination. These early humans, intimately connected to their environment, could not have failed to notice the horse's grace, their collective intelligence, and their sheer endurance. They observed the intricate social structures of the herds, the leadership of mares, the protective instincts of stallions. Perhaps, watching a herd thunder across the plains, an idea, a whisper of a possibility, began to form in the minds of the most observant. What if this power, this speed, could be harnessed? What if this creature, currently an adversary, could become an ally? The archaeological record offers glimpses into this formative period. Fragments of horse bones found in association with human settlements, often bearing cut marks, confirm their status as a food source. But then, subtle anomalies emerge. Cave paintings depicting horses not just as game, but as figures of reverence and spiritual significance. The iconic art of Lascaux and Chauvet, with their stunning equine representations, suggests an awe that transcended mere subsistence. These were not just animals to be hunted. They were central to a worldview, embodying spirit, power, and perhaps even early attempts at sympathetic magic for successful hunts. This era of first encounters was a crucible, forging the initial bonds of a relationship that would utterly redefine human history. It was a time of immense risk and incredible opportunity, where humanity stood at the precipice of understanding, slowly deciphering the language of the wild and contemplating the unimaginable prospect of partnership with one of Earth's most powerful and beautiful creatures. The seeds of domestication, of a shared destiny, were sown in these tense yet transformative observations. The whispered possibility of partnership, born from cautious observation, found its first tangible expression in the revolutionary act of domestication. This was not a sudden conquest, but a gradual, painstaking process, requiring immense ingenuity and an unparalleled understanding of animal behavior. Imagine the sheer audacity of early humans attempting to tame a creature so powerful, so instinct-driven, and so inherently wild. The Bridles Dawn marks the period when humanity shifted from merely hunting horses to actively shaping their destiny, and by extension, our own. Archaeological evidence paints a compelling picture of this transformative era. One of the most significant clues comes from sites like Botai in modern-day Kazakhstan, dating back over 5,500 years. Here, researchers unearthed not just an abundance of horse bones, suggesting a dietary reliance, but crucial indicators of their domestication. Close examination of horse mandibles revealed unique wear patterns on the premolars, consistent with the friction caused by primitive bits. These early bits, likely fashioned from bone, antler, or even hardened leather and rope, represent humanity's first successful attempts at directing these magnificent beasts. Further evidence includes the discovery of pottery shards containing residues of mare's milk, indicating that horses were not only ridden or used for traction, but also milked, a practice suggesting a level of sustained human-horse interaction far beyond that of a hunter and prey. These subtle but profound discoveries unveil a world where the horse was no longer just a wild animal, but an increasingly integrated part of human life and economy. The implications were staggering. With a rudimentary bridle, a human could begin to guide, to steer, and eventually to ride. This simple piece of equipment unlocked unimaginable potential. No longer confined to pedestrian speeds, humanity gained unprecedented mobility. A single rider could traverse vast distances, scout new territories, communicate across wide plains, and tend to larger herds with greater efficiency. The horse transformed from a source of sustenance into a living tool, an extension of human will and ambition. Beyond riding, the harnessed horse offered raw power for traction. While early plows might have initially been pulled by oxen, the horse, with its greater speed and endurance, would eventually revolutionize agriculture, transportation, and warfare. This shift was foundational, from stalking prey on foot to riding alongside, from dragging burdens to pulling them swiftly. It allowed for the movement of goods, people, and ideas across landscapes previously considered impossible or too vast for foot travel. Cave paintings, like those at Lascaux and Chauvet, while predating the clearest evidence of physical bits, resonate with this evolving relationship. They depict horses with an intimacy and detail that suggests not just observation, but a deep, almost spiritual connection. Some interpretations even hint at early attempts at sympathetic magic for control, a psychological bridle preceding the physical one. These artistic expressions foreshadow the monumental bond that was about to solidify. The Bridles Dawn was a slow awakening, a period of quiet revolution, where human ingenuity met equine power, setting the stage for a shared journey that would utterly redefine the course of civilization. The rudimentary bridle, a simple device, unlocked not just mobility for the individual rider, but also the immense potential of the horse as a beast of burden and traction. While oxen had long served as reliable, if slow, power for early agriculture and rudimentary transport, their pace inherently limited the speed of cultural exchange and economic expansion. Imagine a world where the fastest pace of transport was a lumbering ox cart, crawling across unpaved tracks, its journey measured in weeks rather than days. This was the landscape before the horse truly entered the grand narrative of human logistics. The convergence of two monumental inventions, the wheel and the harnessed horse, ignited a revolution in transportation that fundamentally reshaped ancient societies. The wheel, a concept born even before widespread horse domestication, found its ultimate partner in the swift, powerful equine. Early wheeled vehicles, initially cumbersome and drawn by slower draft animals, gained unprecedented speed and efficiency. This synergy gave birth to vehicles like the chariot, a marvel of ancient engineering. Initially deployed as a formidable instrument of war, chariots swept across battlefields, their speed and maneuverability granting their drivers a decisive edge. From the Hyksos in ancient Egypt to the Hittites and Assyrians, chariot armies became the spearhead of empires, allowing for rapid deployment, devastating charges, and swift retreats. These war machines were not merely military assets. They were symbols of power and prestige, their intricate designs and finely bred horses speaking volumes about the wealth and technological prowess of their owners. The thundering hooves and wheels struck awe and terror into adversaries. Beyond the roar of battle, the horse-drawn wagon became the engine of ancient commerce. Goods, once moved slowly and laboriously, could now traverse vast distances with unprecedented speed. Spices, metals, pottery, and agricultural produce flowed along nascent trade routes, accelerating economic growth and interconnectivity. Caravan routes, stretching thousands of miles across continents, became arteries of civilization, facilitated by teams of horses pulling loaded wagons. This vastly increased transport capacity fostered specialized crafts and industries. The exchange was not limited to physical goods, with merchants, emissaries, and adventurers traveling further and faster. Ideas, technologies, religions, and cultural practices also spread rapidly. The horse-drawn vehicle became a crucible for cultural diffusion, blending disparate peoples and fostering innovations across vast geographical and linguistic divides. From writing systems to architectural styles, the wheels of change, propelled by horsepower, literally carried civilization forward. Infrastructure adapted. Early tracks evolved into more defined roads. The horse, once wild, became the beating heart of ancient logistics, propelling humanity from localized settlements to interconnected empires, forever altering the pace and scale of human endeavor. While chariots provided an initial devastating impact on ancient battlefields, the true transformation of warfare came with the mastery of mounted cavalry. This innovation marked a profound shift from the more static infantry formations, ushering in an era of dynamic, mobile combat defined by unprecedented speed, maneuverability, and shock tactics. The direct rider, astride a powerful warhorse, became the spearhead of empires. Peoples of the Eurasian steppes, like the Scythians and Sarmatians, were among the earliest and most formidable masters of mounted warfare. Their lives were so intimately tied to their horses that they developed peerless techniques of horse archery and synchronized charges. These tactics made them virtually unstoppable against slower, foot-bound armies, leveraging their equestrian culture for a decisive military advantage rooted in speed and range. The impact of cavalry was immediate and enduring, determining the rise and fall of civilizations. The Parthian Empire, for instance, perfected the heavy cavalry, the cataphract, a warrior and mount clad in scale armor whose charge was a terrifying, irresistible force. Their skilled horse archers, employing the devastating Parthian shot, could harass and wear down even the most disciplined Roman legions, as famously demonstrated at the Battle of Carrhae. Mounted warriors could strike swiftly, outflank enemies, perform rapid reconnaissance, and pursue fleeing foes for miles, turning routs into annihilations. The psychological terror induced by thousands of thundering hooves, the glint of weapons, and the war cries of charging riders often broke enemy morale before contact. Cavalry offered an unparalleled combination of speed, power, and reach, transforming battlefields into fluid, ever-changing arenas. This mobility was crucial not just for offense, but for defending vast borders, allowing rapid deployment to threatened sectors and ensuring control over expansive territories. Centuries later, the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan would exemplify the zenith of cavalry warfare. Their disciplined hordes, comprised almost entirely of highly mobile horse archers, swept across continents with breathtaking speed. Utilizing sophisticated tactics like feigned retreats, encirclement, and overwhelming numerical superiority, they forged the largest contiguous land empire in history. Their success was inseparable from their hardy, agile ponies, capable of enduring long marches and harsh conditions, serving as both transport and weapon. The horse became the ultimate weapon system of the ancient and medieval worlds, a living engine of conquest and defense. It necessitated new forms of military organization, training, and logistics, including dedicated breeding programs for strength, speed, and temperament. While the cost of maintaining large cavalry forces was immense, the strategic advantages they conferred were undeniable. From Assyrian reliefs to epic sagas, the Charger of Empire stood as a powerful symbol of military might, dominion, and the profound human-equine partnership that carved the fate of civilizations. While the horse's transformative role in warfare cannot be overstated, its influence permeated every facet of human society far beyond the clash of empires. From the arduous labor of the field to the most sacred rites, the horse became an indispensable partner, deeply woven into the cultural fabric of civilizations across the globe. In agrarian societies, the horse revolutionized farming. Replacing slower oxen, horses pulled plows, enabling farmers to cultivate larger tracts of land more efficiently and prepare fields more quickly. They powered threshing machines and transported harvests, directly contributing to increased food production and the sustenance of burgeoning populations. This improved agricultural output underpinned economic growth, allowing for greater specialization and the development of complex social structures. The strength and speed of horses also facilitated long-distance trade, allowing goods, ideas, and technologies to travel further and faster than ever before, knitting together disparate communities and fueling the rise of urban centers. Beyond its utility, the horse rapidly ascended to a powerful symbol of status, wealth, and power. Among royalty, nobility, and elite warriors, owning and riding a finely bred and adorned horse was a clear demonstration of prestige. Elaborate saddles, bridles, and decorative trappings were not merely functional, but artistic expressions of social standing. For nomadic peoples, particularly those of the vast Eurasian steppes, the horse was more than an animal. It was life itself. It provided transport, food, milk, leather, and companionship, shaping their entire worldview and migratory patterns. Their mastery of horsemanship was a cultural cornerstone, intrinsically linked to their identity and survival. The horse also galloped into the realm of the divine and the mythical. Across numerous cultures, it was revered in religious rituals, offered as sacrifices, or seen as a psychopomp, guiding souls to the afterlife. From the eight-legged Sleipnir of Norse mythology to the winged Pegasus of ancient Greece, horses embodied supernatural power, wisdom, and freedom. They were depicted in ancient art, from vivid cave paintings and intricate sculptures to epic poems and foundational myths, celebrated for their beauty, strength, and spirit. This artistic and mythological legacy underscores the profound spiritual and emotional connection humanity forged with these magnificent creatures. The horse, therefore, was not merely a beast of burden or an engine of war, but a living embodiment of human aspirations, a partner in progress, and an enduring symbol of humanity's shared journey through history. While the horse's profound cultural and practical impact is evident in historical records and mythologies, its story is also etched in a more fundamental language, its very DNA. Modern archaeogenetics has revolutionized our understanding of the horse's journey, tracing the whispers of its ancient past across continents and millennia. Through the painstaking analysis of ancient horse remains, bones, teeth, and even preserved soft tissues, scientists can reconstruct the genetic lineages that shaped this magnificent animal. Initial groundbreaking research pointed to the Botai culture in modern-day Kazakhstan around 3500 BCE as a primary early domestication center. Here, evidence of early bits and mare's milk consumption hinted at a deep human-horse partnership. However, more recent and comprehensive genetic studies analyzing mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosomes from thousands of ancient and modern horses suggest a more complex and geographically diffuse origin. These studies now indicate that while early interactions occurred at Botai, the widespread domestication event that led to most modern domestic horse lineages likely involved multiple populations and a broader geographic area within the Pontic-Caspian steppe, occurring somewhat later, around 2200–2000 BCE. From these steppe hearths, the genetic signature of the domesticated horse began its extraordinary expansion. As human migrations and cultural exchanges accelerated, so too did the spread of their equine companions. We see distinct genetic lines fanning out across Eurasia, westward into Europe, southward into the Near East and North Africa, and eastward across the vast plains of Asia. Each wave of expansion saw these domestic horses interbreeding with local wild horse populations, such as the now extinct tarpan in Europe and parts of Asia, or the Przewalski's horse, which represents a truly wild lineage distinct from modern domestic horses, though they sometimes shared territories. This genetic exchange wasn't a one-way street. It enriched the domestic horse gene pool, introducing resilience, adaptability, and specific traits suited to diverse environments. The genetic evidence reveals a tapestry of interconnectedness, illustrating how humans selected for desired traits, speed, strength, temperament, while environmental pressures and natural selection continued to play their part. The journey of the horse is, therefore, not just the story of human conquest and utility, but a narrative of genetic adaptation, resilience, and a shared evolutionary path. These genetic whispers from the past confirm the horse's unparalleled role as a silent architect of human civilization. Its enduring legacy woven into the very fabric of its being, a testament to a partnership that reshaped our world. From the untamed steppes to the heart of human civilization, the horse's journey is a testament to an unparalleled partnership. What began as cautious interaction evolved into a symbiotic relationship forged through necessity, ingenuity, and mutual adaptation. The horse, initially sustenance, transformed into a catalyst for profound human advancement. An engine of exploration, conquest, agriculture, and communication. Its strength pulled plows, its speed carried messengers, and its courage turned the tide of countless battles, fundamentally reshaping societies across millennia. Even as technology advanced with steam engines and automobiles, the horse's role, though altered, never truly vanished. Even as technology advanced with steam engines and automobiles, the horse's role, though altered, never truly vanished. In agrarian communities, horses remained indispensable for farming, tilling fields, and transporting harvests. In urban centers, they were crucial for local transport, delivering goods and pulling carriages through bustling streets well into the 20th century. Beyond utility, their spirit continued to inspire. They became partners in sport, companions in leisure, and symbols of grace, freedom, and nobility. The equestrian arts, from dressage to racing, highlight the sophisticated communication and deep trust possible between human and horse. Today, the horse's enduring presence is perhaps most profound in its symbolic and therapeutic capacities. It aids in healing, offering comfort and connection to those in need, bridging gaps where human interaction alone may falter. In remote parts of the world, they still serve as essential transport and working animals, a living link to their ancient utility. Their wild cousins, like the Przewalski's horse, remind us of their untamed origins, even as conservation efforts strive to protect these last vestiges of true equine wilderness. The narrative of the horse is not merely a chronicle of an animal, it is an inseparable chapter in the human story. It reminds us that our greatest achievements often stem from our deepest connections with the natural world. The horse's hooves have trod the path of history alongside us, carrying our ambitions, sharing our burdens, and reflecting our dreams. It teaches us about resilience, adaptation, and the enduring power of partnership. As we reflect on how this magnificent creature reshaped our world, we are invited to consider the profound responsibility that comes with such a shared destiny. What other partnerships, often overlooked, continue to shape our future? The horse, in its silent grandeur, continues to offer lessons, urging us to recognize the profound impact of all life forms on our shared planet and our shared journey forward.